How's it going? My name's Dave Whipple, and I appreciate you coming back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the biggest issue that people have on YouTube. Getting subs, getting views, getting forward momentum, and that is misconceptions. Misconceptions are absolutely rampant in the world of YouTube. Everybody has grabbed onto a piece of information at some point that they thought was important, but it hasn't done them any good when they put it into practice on their YouTube channel and in their videos. So today, I'm going to run through the misconceptions that I've seen the most, heard the most, been approached the most with from other YouTubers where they say, this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it doesn't seem to work for me. And if you have one of these misconceptions, or worse than that, if you have many of these misconceptions, these preconceived ideas about how YouTube actually works, how to get views, how to get subs, you need to shed those misconceptions in 2025 and start looking at the platform through a lens that really is going to make a difference. So in no particular order, let's dive into this list. Misconception number one, you need to upload daily, bi-weekly, weekly, and you have to do it every single time at the same time of day and on the same day, every upload. This is an absolute total misconception. If you look in your analytics, you're going to see the point of the week where you're getting the most traffic on any given video. It's right there in your analytics. It's that graph that's got all the purple lines, and there's the darker purple and lighter purple. I think the best practice in this is to upload the morning of the day you're going to get the most views, so that video is catching the people in the morning, they're catching the people in the afternoon, and maybe into your peak hour. A lot of times for me, that's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. But if it was a Thursday for you, that'd be a good time to upload. If you've got a video that's going to be evergreen, that's going to live for the next 10 years on the platform, put it out whenever you want. Here's the part that is the misconception, is that by uploading weekly, by uploading the same day, the same time, like a television show, that in and of itself is going to move the needle. It is good to upload when you have the most of your traffic is about to show up. But on the other hand, uploading on a schedule by itself is not going to do you any good whatsoever. It's just going to mean that you're consistent, but it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to consistently watch your content. Better video content is going to ensure people are going to find it and watch it. The consistency thing, I mean, give yourself a gold star if you're uploading all the time at the same time like a television show, but that gold star is just going to be from you to you. It's really not going to translate. Better content is going to move the ball forward, but a consistent pattern is just a consistent pattern. Another way to look at this is it better to have new content every Thursday afternoon at 4:30, or is it better to drop a killer video once a month? I personally like putting out a video once a month and putting more time into it, especially more time into vetting the subject, especially more time into the thumbnail, especially more time into the title, so that when the video comes out, I have reasonable expectations that video is going to do really well. If it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday and I'm like, well, I said I'm going to upload this time, this day, and I just slap something together, it won't do me any good. It won't help you either. Another misconception, this is kind of getting old enough everybody sees it, but it's the big intro. You used to see this probably 6 or 7 years ago. People would have this big graphic intro with moving parts and fire and machinery and your logo. And honestly, we've all seen that too much. And as soon as that comes on, when I'm watching YouTube, I generally either skip it or I go to another video, because to me, it just looks extremely dated at this point. It's not really helping your branding. Again, I'm going to beat this drum to death. Great content is going to do much more for your subscriber count than to focus on getting people to recognize your brand by running the same 30-second, which is a lifetime, 30-second intro at the beginning of every one of your videos. So misconception number 2 is that long intro is helping you. It's not helping you. Misconception number 3 is that the algorithm is something that you need to chase. You don't need to chase the algorithm. And I've surprised some people with this train of thought because I've had a lot of comments about analytics. I've had a lot of comments about the algorithm. I've had a lot of comments about, how do I hack the system? Hack the system with a good subject, a good thumbnail, and a good title. To take that one step further, a lot of times people put a video together and then they slap a thumbnail on it. They just grab a screenshot from the recording process and say, well, this is my thumbnail. They put a whole bunch of words on the thumbnail, which is a topic for another day. In my personal opinion, words a lot of times are distracting. A lot of times they achieve clutter. They don't really help you. It's quite often the case that if you have a really good, simple, vibrant, bright thumbnail and you just have this nervous energy, like I need more, I need to drill this home, and you put, it's generally yellow, big giant yellow letters across the screen, or a whole bunch of little small print white text. Like, now people will really get it. Well, in that little tiny picture, that little tiny thumbnail, it's clutter. It is distracting, and it just makes it for a really messy thumbnail. So to get back on track, it's not about hacking the algorithm. Again, it's about subject, title, thumbnail, and a really, really valuable, interesting, entertaining video. That's much more likely to get the click. And when YouTube sees you're getting the click, they're going to like you. So focus on content that appeals to a lot of people. Good subject, good thumbnail, good title, and don't worry about the algorithm, because you won't ever understand it. And even if you had complete understanding of the algorithm today, it might change tomorrow and it might not make sense anymore. All the algorithm is doing is it's trying to get the absolute most views per video it possibly can get. It has all of these people on the platform of YouTube. The computer program knows what everybody wants and likes and what they generally click on, and that's going to put that sort of video in front of the person who's watching. And the whole point of YouTube having an algorithm is to get the most views possible. So if you're not getting views, it's not because of the algorithm. It's because what you're serving up is just not catching on to the people YouTube might assume would like it. Misconception number 4, quantity equals progress. Having 500 videos is not going to help you at all if those videos aren't popular. It's pretty much that simple. So if you're thinking to yourself, I've put out 4 videos this week, I'm really not going anywhere with that. Well, quantity is never, ever, ever the answer. Quality is always the answer. Would you rather have one video that's got 1 million views, or would you rather have 100 videos that all have 100 views apiece? It's a pretty simple equation, really. So if you are putting out a lot of content, you feel like you're grinding it out, you feel like you're working hard, take that misconception and put it on a shelf, because the forward momentum doesn't come from working hard. The forward momentum comes from making the best choices of what to film, making the best choices of the thumbnail. And again, the title, thumbnail, title, and the subject of the video itself. A lot of times the thumbnail can be more important than the video. If you've got a video on a subject that's fairly interesting and you have an amazing thumbnail, the thumbnail is going to get you the click, as long as you don't confuse the issue with your title. And once you do have the click, if the video is delivering, it might not even be the best video out there on the subject. It might just be okay. But what I'm saying is, getting the click is the job of the thumbnail and the title. So in a way, the thumbnail and the title are more important than the video, or at least they can be more important than the video. But quantity, a lot of work, putting out a lot of videos, grinding it out, working hard, it's not going to get you where you want to go. It's a misconception. Quality, again, is the right choice. Another misconception is that subscribers equal success. We all want subscribers. We all want the validation that somebody has chose your channel. They picked you out of everything that's out there, and they want to see more. They've hit the sub button. But subscribers are, you've heard this before, I'm sure, subscribers are a vanity metric. If you're a channel that relies on AdSense, actual Google, YouTube advertising for your income, you could have 1 million subscribers, but if you're getting 5,000, 10,000 views a video, you can't make a living at that. So the subscriber number is always secondary to the view number for a channel that is making a living on AdSense. There's a whole lot of other ways to make a living on YouTube. But if you are just an ad revenue channel, you want views. And a lot of subscribers do not equal a lot of views. Some of the really big channels on YouTube have a ton of subscribers, and they're still really relatively small view count on a lot of videos. For an ad revenue based channel, you can't make a living that way. You have to have a lot of eyeballs. So don't focus on getting subscribers. And I think this goes to the world of shorts mostly. You see shorts videos quite often that have millions of views, and a shorts video that has millions of views, maybe 1 in 100 people, if it was really popular, maybe they hit the sub button. And let's say your shorts video is on cooking a grilled cheese sandwich, where all the rest of your content is about racing or is about business or is about something else. Just because that person subscribed in that moment of like, wow, that's cool, I love it, subscribe, I want to see more of that. And they forget they ever saw that video because people are watching 1,000 shorts at a time. They see you in their subscriber count later, their subscriber page, and they have no idea who you are. They can't even remember who you are. So shorts is a really good way to gain a lot of subscribers that might not watch your long form content. If you are going to do shorts, I think it would probably be a good idea to remanufacture your videos into shorts clips. That way, at least the people that do subscribe through shorts already like what you do anyway. They can watch the long form video version of a short. They already have a flavor of what you are and what you do based on the fact that the short that they saw is part of a long form video that you already have. That's probably a better way to go about it. But subscribers in general, getting a ton of subs, that's one of the things that is very appealing to a lot of people, is to get a lot of subs. But what you really want is a lot of views. Or if you're a business YouTube channel, you want people that are very invested in you, what you're doing. I watch a lot of guitar content on YouTube, and a lot of these guitar channels have a course, they have a program, they have study tools that you can buy through the YouTube channel. And I'm sure they're much, much less interested in having a lot of subs as they're interested in having a lot of people who are really involved in their content, who could be a business transaction to that channel. So the short, dumb version of that is subscribers do not matter as much as views. And for a business channel on YouTube, neither one of them really matter. You really want people that are invested, that trust what you have to say. Another misconception that I see quite often is that analytics have the answers. I've ran into a few people, not a lot, but I have run into a few people that are really analytical, and they really dive into the numbers that they're seeing in their analytics. And they think that the answer is in the analytics. In fact, the analytics are showing you a breakdown statistically of what you have already done. If you look at the audience retention graph, the audience retention graph shows you how much people watched a video you already uploaded. And there is some good information in that particular metric. You can see how fast people have dropped off your video. If you see a big spike in the middle of your audience retention graph, you know that you did something good because people backed up to watch that section again. That's actually a valuable piece of information. For click-through rate, and I don't get into this because this is not my bag, but let's just hypothetical situation here. Let's say with your click-through rate, YouTube puts your video out to 10,000 people, and the first 1,000 of those people are your subscribers, and half of them click the video. You have a 50% click-through rate. That's amazing. And YouTube's like, well, that's a good click-through rate. They put it out to 9,000 people beyond that don't know you but are looking for content that is kind of what you got going on in the ballpark. And let's say out of that 9,000, nobody clicks on it. Well, you could have a 2 or 3% click-through rate, haven't done the math on it, and think like that's a good click-through rate. But you had a great initial click-through rate and then roll it out to more people. Nobody was interested because probably the title was confusing, the thumbnail was cluttered, and they never got to the video because they didn't click. In analytics, you're going to find a lot of information that's going to tell you what you've already done. Some of it can be useful. Some of it can just lead you down a rabbit hole that you're never going to completely figure out anyway. So again, I got to go right back to the beginning. Subject, title, thumbnail. That's what you really need to focus on. Another misconception is that your video should perform because other people have put out similar videos that performed. This is a little closer to reality than a misconception, but it's still not a guarantee. If you watch a video that was shot 6 years ago, maybe that particular subject was super hot 6 years ago, but now it's not. So you have a video that's had 6 years to grow, and maybe it was put out at the peak popularity of that subject. You shoot a video like it, same subject, your perspective, and you think, well, video A over here did amazing. I've got a comparative product that I just put out. It should do amazing. That subject may have already been served by so many channels, and it might have been a very popular subject at one time, and maybe today it's not as popular. Even if you think your version of that same type of content is really well done, your title and thumbnail might cripple that video because your title is unclear, your thumbnail is cluttered. And even though you're like, I shot a video that's just like this one got 10 million views. Why isn't mine getting 10 million views? It might be that the popularity of that subject is not what it was. It picked up maybe the bulk of its views back in the day when it was uploaded. Your video is coming in 6 years later. Popularity on that subject has dropped way off. You're late to the market. And then once again, let me beat this dead horse silly. If your title and your thumbnail are subpar, you're not going to get anywhere near as many clicks. YouTube's not going to roll it out to more people. And you're also looking at the first week, the first month, the first 2 months of that video being out. And you're judging it to something that has been out for years and years and years. So if you see a video that has performed amazing and you think, well, this is right in my wheelhouse, I'm going to do my version of this video, there's no guarantee that your version is going to do as well as the original. So it's not a good idea to compare yourself. You shouldn't look at your content that isn't performing and be like, well, the algorithm hates me because my video is just as good as this one and my video's not where I think it should be. Here's another misconception, and I touched on this earlier, is that more stuff in a thumbnail makes it better. More stuff, arrows, X's, highlighted areas, green screen, lettering, and lettering is rampant. Lettering is a way that you can improve a thumbnail. Putting a word on the thumbnail that improves the thumbnail. 99% of the time, it doesn't. 99% of the time, in my opinion, lettering is cluttering up a thumbnail. When you put words over a thumbnail, you're obscuring the picture. No matter where you put the words, you're obscuring part of the picture, part of the thumbnail image. So if you're not getting the traction you want from your videos, the first place to always look, first place is always your thumbnails, because your thumbnails literally are the first thing anybody sees. They see the picture of the thumbnail first. Before they read the title, they see the picture. If you're not getting the traction you want, look at thumbnails first. If they look cluttered in any way at all, get rid of the lettering. And the last misconception, and this is similar to the others, is that titles and thumbnails are not as important as the video. I mentioned this earlier, that sometimes the thumbnail is more important than the video itself. Sometimes the title is more important than the video itself, because you have to get the click. If you don't get the click, everything else you did doesn't make any difference, doesn't matter at all. So your thumbnail should be the first thing that you get right. Before you film a video, you should have an idea of what the thumbnail is going to look like. If you're going to shoot a video and you can't figure out what to use for the thumbnail, just stop. You have to get that figured out. That has to be top priority. Because if you don't know what the thumbnail is going to be, if you don't know how to get a single photograph of whatever you're doing, whatever the thing is, whatever the subject is, if you can't capture everything you need to say in one photograph that people can see in a little tiny small photograph, a little thumbnail size, if you don't know how to package that video with a clear, concise, simple thumbnail, no matter what else you do, no matter how good the video is, no matter how good the title is, you're always going to be handicapped by the fact that you don't have a handle on your thumbnail. So the thumbnail is hyper important. Hyper important. The thumbnail doesn't need to be fancy, and it doesn't need to be loaded up with words. But it needs to say everything in one picture. And if you don't know how to do that, you're already shot in the foot, because you get the video done, it's polished, the music is just right. Even if the video is great, the first thing anyone's going to see is the thumbnail. And if they look at the thumbnail and it doesn't grab them, they won't read the title. So the title can't help. It can't do anything at all if they see the thumbnail and they're like, I don't pass. So this is one of the most evil misconceptions people have. Put together a video and then they're like, well, what do I use for a thumbnail? I'll just use a picture of myself. The thumbnail is the most underrated part of what we do here on YouTube. On my main channel, Bush Radical, my top 54 videos, I counted them the other day. My top 54 videos have no lettering in the thumbnail. Only a few of them have my face in it. All of those really, really high-performing videos at the top of that channel are all just a picture. They're a clear picture with good color, good lighting, but they're just a photograph. That should say a lot. And if I scroll down my channel to the bottom to get to the old videos, the videos I shot 5, 6, 7 years ago that have terrible views, terrible audience retention, you start to run into a theme. You start to see a bunch of lettering. You start to see clutter. You start to see this font and this color and that color. And this is a lesson I learned the hard way, putting out a lot of videos when I first started out that never really performed. And I always had this nervous energy about the thumbnail. Like, I just need to do more. I need to put more on it. I need to hammer down on why somebody would watch this. And in today's climate on YouTube, I think the thumbnail is a really good way to spot a channel that is not certain. If you're loading up every thumbnail with words, phrases, sentences, I've seen paragraphs. This is not a joke, man. I have seen paragraphs of writing on a thumbnail recently. So to not get too far out in the weeds with this one, because this is a topic for another video, the thumbnail is hypercritical. It should never be overlooked. Matter of fact, figure it out before you start filming. It's probably the best way to go about it. And if you don't know how to wad it all into one photograph, rework what you're doing so you can say it all with a photo. You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. But if your picture isn't worth 1,000 words, if it's not selling what you have for a video, go back to square one. Figure the thumbnail out first. And in the same breath, the title. People phone in the titles a lot. They'll have a video done. They'll pick a thumbnail. And this is a lot of the problem on the platform for a lot of people. Don't feel bad. Almost everybody that has done well on the platform started out doing all these things wrong. It's not your fault. It's just human nature. It's something you need to identify and then change course. So a lot of people will put a video out. They will pick a thumbnail at random because they never thought about it beforehand. They'll put a title on the video that is just whatever comes off the top of their head at the last minute. And the title and the thumbnail are phoned in because they're looked at as being not as important. And if there's anything I'd like you to take away from this video about misconceptions regarding YouTube, is that the title and the thumbnail are never to be taken lightly. The title and the thumbnail are the packaging and the label of whatever it is you're selling in your video. Whatever you made that video about. Imagine it was a product sitting on a shelf and the packaging was a brown paper bag or a cardboard box with nothing else on it. And the label said, "Watch this." Nobody would buy whatever's inside the box. They don't know what it is. They don't know why they would want it. They don't know if it's for them. And that's the title and the thumbnail. The title and the thumbnail are the box and the label. I could go on for days about this. This is like the easiest thing to work on that makes the most forward progress for the most people in the quickest amount of time is the thumbnail and the title. And for so many people, it's an afterthought. One last thing on that. On a video like this is a talking head video. This is my education channel about helping people do better on YouTube. There's not a whole heck of a lot I can do with thumbnails on this channel. Same goes for all these talking head channels, that are information-based channels. There's not a lot you can do with that thumbnail. So you just do the best you can. But for a lot of the people who are watching this video is about helping blue-collar people succeed on YouTube. If you're on this channel, you probably are familiar with my Bush Radical channel, or the channel I ran for a while, Cheap Wheels. It was an automotive channel. Those channels are very, very project-oriented. And a channel that's project-oriented, the thumbnail and title should be extremely easy to figure out. On a video like this, I'm going to have the title to work with, and the thumbnail's probably just going to be what you're looking at here, because there's not a lot to work with. But if you're a blue-collar YouTuber who is the audience of this channel, and you're doing projects, you're doing activities, showing more than just the inside of an office and a talking head like what we're doing here, you should be able to improve thumbnails and titles today. You should be able to fix a lot of the issues you have with your videos by fixing the title and fixing the thumbnail. If you have thumbnails that are absolutely littered with paragraphs and writing and text, and it's just like a dark shot of a person, out in the woods or the field or the shop or whatever, and that's your thumbnail, ditch it. Get rid of it right now. Get a well-lit photograph that says it all in one shot of whatever you're doing, whatever the activity is, whatever the project is. And that's gonna go like so far to help you get views by fixing the title and thumbnail. So that last misconception, I could go on for literally days about that one thing, that one misconception. Never, ever, 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 ever phone in your title and thumbnail at the last minute and say, that doesn't matter, because it's the thing that does matter. As much as the video, it's the thing that matters. It goes without saying you have to shoot a good video that delivers whatever that video is claiming to deliver. But nobody's ever going to give you a shot if the title and thumbnail suck. And that's gospel, man. You gotta take that as the reality of the situation and level your game up with titles and thumbnails. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this fire hose treatment of what not to do, what to root out of your psyche as far as the things you thought were important that are not important. And I hope that this has given you a clearer direction of what needs to be changed on your channel to get more views, to get more forward momentum, to get the whole thing rolling in the direction you want it to roll. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Dave Whipple. See you on the next one.